Are you trying to be a fighter? Are you an amateur fighter? Are you an amateur fighter trying to turn pro? Well, here's some things you might not know about the sport of MMA. What's up, guys? It's JoseShortyTorres, and welcome to the very first episode of Inside Team Shorty, where I'll be giving the behind the scenes, the truth, and the reality of the sport of mixed martial arts. We already know that mixed martial arts is the fastest growing sport in the world. Promotions are coming out of nowhere. Back in the day, give or take, there were only a handful. But now you have promotions like the UFC, Bellator, the PFL, and so many more. The possibilities of making it big, honestly, are endless. MMA is all over the world on social media, YouTube, World Star, TV, and pay-per-view. And they're boasting fighters all the time, whether it's their submissions, their knockouts, their highlights, or guys that are notable like Conor McGregor. You see him and you go, he has the money, he has everything I've ever wanted. I want to be just like that guy. You know what? I'm going to be a fighter. I mean, that's cool and all, but the reality of it is, you can do it, but it's going to be extremely, extremely hard. Now, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from this video. If you want to do MMA, kudos to you. Please try it. The best thing about this sport is that there's no specific body type. There's no style, technique, form that you need to be the best possible athlete. Look at fighters like Demetrius Johnson, one of the smallest guys in the flyweight division, and has been the most dominant champion in UFC's history. What about Anderson Silva? Definitely wasn't the biggest and the strongest, but he was the most technical with a high fight IQ to dominate and knock out almost every one of his opponents. And there's so many different fighters, there's so many different categories and body types and styles that it goes endless. It really does. Which gives hope for a lot of people that, again, you don't have to be this or that to be the best in the world. You can be who you are, just the best at it. Now, like I said earlier, everyone sees us on social media and goes, I want to be like that guy. He's on TV. He probably has a lot of money. That's what I want to do. But do you know the real stuff about MMA? Yeah, we see stuff like Rocky movies like The Warrior, Southpaw, and so many more, but see, the thing is, you're not the one grinding in the movie. You're just the one watching and enjoying the show. But fighters like myself are working hard every single day to make it to the top. And let me tell you some of my personal ins and outs and the things that I've heard about that people and fighters like myself struggle with every single day. Now, just like anything in life, you got pros and you got cons. It's how it is. Just like anything, you can't have one without the other. It's like peanut butter and jelly, and so many more. I'm not even going to get into it. I don't want to think that much. Let's start with the pros. The pros are, and this is more of a personal thing, this sport is extremely, extremely tough. You know when you get in there that the other guy is trying to do the same thing you're doing, which is trying to knock you out, tap you out, punch you, kick you, elbow you, knee you, hurt you, do whatever to you to win the fight. Just to get in there, you have to be brave or crazy. But honestly, you're brave just to do so. Doing this sport takes a lot of guts because, again, you can get seriously injured. And knowing that and putting yourself through that makes you a very, very courageous individual. Now, with being brave, you're doing things that not many people can do. It's kind of like skydiving. Not many people can do it. Heck, I know people who rather skydive than jump in the ring or the cage. But you getting in there makes you a role model. People love to see that. One, people love the entertainment of MMA. It's a huge thing. Not many people can do it. So people admire you for it. Most people at the start that admire you for it are people that you grew up with or kids in your neighborhood and go, man, he's doing this. If he could do it, I can do it. I know that's my motto. If this shorty can do it, so can you. And that's what a lot of people do as fighters. Accidentally, they become role models and you don't even know it. You training every single day. You getting up to do this craft. You getting up to go to the cage and go, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it to the top. People love that. They get the entertainment from that and go, I want to do that too. You have different role models. You have the Conor McGregors and Colby Covingtons that want to talk smack, make it to the top, and do that whole WWE thing to make it more promotional. Or you have, I'm going to transition to boxing, the Manny Pacquiaos who are always smiling and trying to help people and give back. Which, fun fact, Manny Pacquiao's my favorite fighter. So be it. I'm a little biased. But overall, you're a role model. And because you're a role model, you get respect. And a lot of people love that. Now, if you're in the sport of MMA, you think, man, I see Conor McGregor on TV, I see this guy on TV, I see this guy doing that, special guest appearances, he's in interviews, he's doing this, he has a belt, he must be a millionaire. Honestly, some of those individuals are. Some of them guys like Conor McGregor, for the biggest example really, is he came from nothing And out of nowhere, he's literally on top of the world. Win or lose, he's making millions of dollars per every fight. That's everyone's dream come true. I'm still waiting for that, by the way. Help me. Making money in the sport is very, very difficult. And people don't know the behind the scenes with that. But if you make it to the top, if you're very social, you can spit game, you can talk, and you can do the things you say you're going to do in the ring or in the cage, you're going to make it. And people are going to love you for it. And with people loving you, means money's going to be thrown at you. Now, what I believe is the biggest pro of the sport is, just like myself, you're doing something that you love. Seriously, if you don't love this sport, I don't know why you're doing it. And if you still are doing it, please tell me that, because that's a huge secret. Because, again, you're taking some damage for no love. You're just, whatever, I'm just doing it. That is different, and that's crazy. You could be crazy, whatever. But people do this because they love the sport. And that is the biggest gain. It's like they're never working because they enjoy what they do. Again, love makes us numb and blind to a lot of pains and a lot of bad things in our life. It could be blinding love in a good way. It could be blinding love in a bad way. But little do you know is that you're still doing what you love and you're still continuing to strive for it. You could get injured. You could be waking up every single morning, doing the grind, not having a social life, not doing this, not doing that. But you're doing MMA, and that's all that matters to you. Is that all the stuff that is involved in the sport, you're doing it anyways because you love it. Love is great when you have a lot of cons to it. Because again, it's going to push you forward. It's that motivation to get you through a lot of things. But if you start to lose motivation, if you start to lose that love for the sport, those cons really come into play. One of the biggest cons that people know of, at least on social media and the news and all this stuff, is, well, you get injured. Our sport is to beat the other person up until the ref officially stops the fight. You're going to get injured. Injuries are concussions, broken bones, displacement of bone, cuts, bruises, swollen limbs, torn ligaments, concussions. Oh, wait. I seriously might be injured still. Anywho, injuries will come and go. And injuries don't just happen in fights, they also happen in practice. Heck, I can be walking down the stairs, slip, and out of nowhere I break my ankle. You can do a Tony Ferguson, be perfectly fine for the fight, trip on a wire, and well, there goes the fight. I still really want to see that fight with him and Khabib. Please make that happen. And yes, you might know about the injuries and go, I'm willing to take it all. That's cool. Like, good for you. Not the brightest thing in the world, but good for you. The bad thing is, something that people don't know is, injuries take time to heal. It's not a month. It's not 2 months. Some injuries take forever. Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. Torres ACL took 1 year to finally return. Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman 2. Anderson Silva breaks his shin in half. Oh, it was so bad. A whole year to return. It was a very depressing day. I love Anderson Silva. Heck, even myself, in one fight that I won, I didn't lose, I won, broke my hand, tore my MCL, had 11 stitches in my eye, 2 staples in my head, had a minor concussion, and I couldn't walk. It took me 6 months until I could fight again. These injuries, one, hinder your practices. Again, you don't stay the same. If you do nothing, you don't get better, you get worse. So for me, even though I was recovering and doing my rehab for my muscles and possibly getting stronger physically in MMA, I wasn't. And I had to catch back up to where I wanted to be, just to start improving. Now, think about this. In my scenario, at least just mine, 6 months is probably about the average time for an injury, at least from what I could recall. Now, think about this. If you're a full-time MMA fighter and you don't have any other job, MMA is your moneymaker. 6 months, think about this. 6 months without pay. What would you do? Some people have family, friends, kids, mom, dad, people that they want to take care of. House bills, car bills, insurance, medical bills, all this stuff in the world, life in general, food, anything. It takes money. But if you can't work, you can't make money. The crazy thing about it, and again, something else a lot of people don't know, is a lot of MMA fighters, UFC fighters, even decent UFC fighters in the middle rankings there, still work full-time jobs. I know one fighter who is a UFC athlete, still works at Applebee's. It is a struggle, and seriously, the struggle is real. The injuries, the time from the injuries, the money, all this stuff goes into the second part of time. You're taking time away from what you want to do in life. Life is extremely short. It's much shorter than I am. It seriously passes by in the blink of an eye. And ask any senior citizen, seriously, ask my grandmother, she will tell you every single time. It passes by really, really fast. MMA in general takes time away from your family, from your friends, your social life, what you want to do. For me, I travel 1 to 2 months at a time for my training camp, and sometimes not even for my training camp, but just to work and teach seminars and do different things. Just to practice takes time away from life, takes time away from your youth, from being a 20-year-old in my circumstance. All of it obviously going to a positive to achieve my goals, and I love doing what I do. But sometimes you think about it and go, I miss my friends, I miss this, I miss that, I wish I could have done all these things. But that's some of the consequences with MMA, is that it will take time away. Now with all that, Honestly, setbacks. Think about this. It's a sport. There are 2 teams that go in there. If you look at it, there are what? 10 to 12 fighters in almost every single UFC card. Straight down the middle, there's one side and the other side. Half that side, given it'll go vice versa, half that side will lose. Automatically, half those athletes will lose. That's part of the sport. Just like football, one team will win. It's okay, it's going to go on to the next, but it's a setback. It might hold you from the playoffs. For my sport, in the UFC, MMA, it holds you from getting the title shot. It holds you from getting the top 15, the top 10, the top 5, going against the champion. It might hold you back from making more money. A loss doesn't just keep you from getting to the top, but it might keep you from getting more sponsors, being more marketable, being a big MMA star that you hope to be. Setbacks are always going to be there. Again, you have your injuries that are going to hold you back, take time away from the sport. You have money that's going to keep you away. You're going to have to work at different places to do what you want to do. Training takes a lot of money. For me, I grew up with nothing. For the first 6 years of my MMA career, I had the same shin guards and the same boxing gloves. I had to tape them up every single day just so they can stay on my hands and my legs. Injuries, time, money are all overall setbacks, and they're all going to hold you back from achieving what you want to achieve. So that's why, again, kudos to these guys like Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, and the rest of the champions in the UFC, Bellator, and all these other promotions, because they made it to the top. They made it to where they believe they could have made it, and they did. They never let anything hold them back, and it's awesome. But again, look at all the rest of the guys on the floor. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm not going to say the stats. But yes, you have a way better chance of being a UFC champion than being in the NFL, but it's still a very slim chance. And also, I think a huge setback, and again, it's not to discourage anyone. You could be the best athlete in the world. You could have trained 100 hours, whatever the case may be, 1,000 hours, 1,000,000 hours, whatever the case, but you can still get caught, whether it be a submission or knocked out. I've seen fighters winning the entire fight, and the last 5 to 10 seconds, they get dropped, or they get knocked out, or submitted. I think a big example is Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen was dominating the whole match, and I believe it was the last minute of the fight, and Silva throws up a triangle and taps out Chael Sonnen to retain his belt. Amazing! But he was going to lose the fight if he didn't do anything. So again, you could be the better athlete, you could be dominating the whole fight, and sometimes it doesn't matter what you did in practice, you still could get caught. That is probably the most entertaining, but also the most depressing thing in this sport. Really depends on your spectrum here. Now personally, why do I do MMA? I want to be a hero. I used to watch shows like Dragon Ball Z, Power Rangers, people like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee that were my role models. Again, they fought for good. I wanted to be just like them. So all I did was fight at home and fight with my family, and well, I got into martial arts. Now with that, because I wanted to be a hero, I wanted to be a role model as well and inspire people and show that even in my neighborhood, a typical Latino upbringing in Chicago, that if I can make it out, so can you. I had the same opportunities you had, or maybe even better, sometimes maybe even less, but I still did it and I still made it out. Again, some people may have a way worse life than I do, and that, trust me, that's easily there, but it still doesn't mean you can't make it to the top. You have stories in music, you have stories in sports, you have stories in politics, everything of people making it to the top from literally having nothing at all. So don't let anything hold you back. But that's why I do the sport. It's one, what I love, I enjoy the challenge, and I want to be a hero. Most and foremost, I want to be a hero. And that's why I do it. No matter what my grind is, no matter what my struggle is, I push through. And trust me, I have my fair share of struggles. I'm at my current setback now. I haven't lost in 33 fights, and I finally lost. It's part of the sport, it happens. But now it's my job to take that negative and turn it into a positive. Again, it's a setback, but I'm hoping to change it. Now in the comments below, tell me why you do the sport of MMA. Please don't say I do UFC, because I do UFC, but unless you're a UFC fighter, you don't do. Anyways, why do you do MMA? Also, if there are any other topics you want me to touch on, please leave in the comments below and let me know. I want to be able to help you guys out as much as possible. Again, if you like this video, please click subscribe, hit the notifications button so you know every time I upload a video. Comes out every once or twice a week depending on my schedule. I am a full-time fighter, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much guys for all the support. I really do appreciate it, and that's why I always say we can, we will, together we are Team Shorty. I just want to say, this is my first video I've ever done like this. It took a really long time. A really long time. It's done. It's done. I'm not a professional, but I got it done. Oh, I'd rather get punched in the face any day. Anywho.